This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, Sony Pictures delays one of their 2 comic book movies for the year. Will the coronavirus wipe out the entire summer blockbuster season? And how soon will you feel ready to go to a movie theater after the pandemic? Plus, a listener-sponsored review of the 80s cult classic Goonies, and a whole lot more. All in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Thursday, April 2nd, 2020.
Yo, 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 this is Rob Liefeld, creator of Deadpool, Cable, X-Force, Domino. You are listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. You want the most up-to-date comic book movie and TV news? You found it. Fun? You bet. Puppets? With substance abuse issues? Oddly, yes. Only here on the Jock and Nerd podcast. Does it get any better than this? I don't think so. Listen, Rob Liefeld, creator of all the stuff you love, saying to you, listen to the Jock and Nerd podcast. So sexy, so awesome. I never miss it. And it's my favorite thing in forever. It's spectacular. It's awesome. I love it. Jock and Nerd.
Check. Check 1. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. We're jocking, we nerding. We funny, disturbing. We're jocking, we nerding. Spoiler alert. Oh yeah. We're jocking, we nerding. We funny, disturbing. Oh yeah. We're jocking, we nerding. We're spoiler alert.
Hey, what is up, listener? Thanks for joining us and welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd. Are you like laughing every time you say that? Every time you do the intro, I can hear you like you're laughing.
Listen, I crack me up. I kill me like Alf. It's a famous Alf catchline. Nobody knows what I'm talking about. Also joining us, though, is a puppet who was self-quarantining before it was cool. He was ahead of the curve. It's Rug Boy. What's up, Rugs?
Yeah, I was chained in the basement watching a television. And, hey, you guys, it's me.
What a baby Ruth. What a baby Ruth, Rugs. Yes, yeah. Keep him in the basement. We make sure we self-quarantine, isolate this guy. We can't have you out and about, Rugs.
Well, yeah, you don't have to worry about that. I'm pretty much good being inside of a dank, musty cave.
Yeah. Rugs, it's crazy out there. There's officially 1 million people with the Rona.
Oh, shit.
And
there's 1 million?
It's 1 million cases now.
In the world.
Holy fuck.
Globally, 200,000 recovered, but we're up to 1 million. And I think the number now is like 95% of this country is under a shelter in place order.
Oh, shit.
Also. So, yeah. Yay. All due to the Rona. Yay, Rona.
Introverts
Jesus.
are loving this.
They were ready for this.
Yeah.
So, wow, that's just nuts. Where are we at right now?
I like calling it Rona because it sounds like a New Edition song or like a Belle Biv DeVoe song. You know? Little Rona. Shy Rona.
Who?
Rona.
Rona Mitra. She's very hot.
That girl's got Rona. You know, sounds like it's like a 90s R&B song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Life with the Rona, everyone. I hope everyone is staying sane and safe. But we still got stuff to talk about. We still want to entertain. Not really. Everything's been destroyed. Let's just get to the geek news, you bastards.
I'm getting drunk.
The Jock and Nerd
Good
podcast.
Imran, don't drink, please.
I won't, but Rugs, get drunk and just stay that way.
I'm drinking beer right now.
I had to add a new sound clip, which is it's a famous movie clip that's been running through my head every time I hear crazy Rona news. Let's play Name That Clip. I know Anthony's not going to get this. Rugs will get this.
This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy.
That's been running through my mind every time. Rugs, you know where that's from, right?
It is from Vacation.
Yes. National Lampoon Summer Vacation.
I've never seen it.
Never seen it? That is a classic American
he has to see
comedy. Yeah, we got to get you into like the really good comedies that have been out for years that everyone has seen.
That's one of those movies that people just watch over and over.
That along with Airplane.
Over.
I could watch Airplane over and over again. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
But anyways, what I was saying is like it's hard picking new things to talk about because it's all doom and gloom and it's kind of the same shit every week, but I still need to process and vent. I think we all do. So we're going to start with the fact that this week Sony finally catches up with the rest of the movie industry and starts delaying their movies. Morbius, which was going to come out July 30th, the Spider-Man spinoff Morbius the Living Vampire with Jared Leto, is now coming out March of next year, 2021.
Wow.
Yes.
So no more.
No Morbius for anyone. Ghostbusters Afterlife was going to be out in July this year. They pushed that back also to March of next year.
So no Morbius. Ghostbusters is Ghostbusted.
Is Ghostbusted.
Afterlife is dead.
Can you come up with a pun for this one? The Uncharted video game adaptation, Uncharted, moved to October 8th, 2021.
It's now done charted.
It's done charted.
Lame.
That's pretty good. But I heard that like Uncharted got shut down on like the first day of production, so that thing didn't have a chance. What's interesting though is they haven't moved Venom 2.
What? Because you can't come up with a pun for it.
No, you can't. Venom is denim. No, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, Venom is dead.
Deadly.
Deadly.
Yeah.
Deadly. I don't know.
Venom scheduled to release October 2nd. Remember, Andy Serkis is directing this. We're going to see Carnage, Woody Harrelson, maybe Tom Holland.
So the movie's pretty much finished, or are they just? I guess you could edit things in isolation, huh?
I think they were finishing up their production. I don't know if they. Yeah,
I'm sure there's a bunch of editing though that has to. be done.
Post production is all just done by one person in a room on a computer. But I wonder. And they even saying there may be a trailer coming out soon. Geek Boner for Venom 2. October is far enough away. It seems to, you know, the weird point is like your July, August. Anything past
that's July right now is the weird month where it could be better, or who knows?
But no one knows. Well, I mean, we're officially, you know, another 4 weeks of this stay-at-home shit until April 30th. So
I would say at least June would be like the earliest, but June might be out of the question by now.
See, I've been watching all these press things. I missed a couple that had just recently happened, but the thing that I'm looking for the most is this testing thing.
yeah,
Like, if we can test people and we know that they don't have the Rona, they can go back to work, and then we can be like, hey, you can be out there. Everybody else who doesn't pass the test has to stay home. We could get back to, like, life without having to, like, cure this shit. We could just let the people who are, but I'm not hearing that much about these. I've heard about these instant tests that they could do, and you can know within an hour or something.
Right, that's the problem. Is the testing still?
They have to be widespread. Like every fucking place has to have the ability to test.
Well, and the issue too is that they're still limiting testing to people that have symptoms.
right.
And it's been pretty much proven now that you can be asymptomatic and still spread it. So you just need to be able to test everyone at this point.
And that is a lot of people. I mean, you
That's a
come
shit
up
ton
with
of people.
309 million tests. Is it still the thing where they shove it up the nose? When I got the flu in January, they took this thing and they shoved it up to my brain. Oh, shit. My eyes started watering. It was the most uncomfortable thing.
I think that's still a test, but they're coming up with other stuff.
But like, you don't need to test every person. Just the people that need to actually get back into work.
For essential workers?
Like just people like you don't have to test, like, school's closed.
Yeah.
So the kids don't need to go out. But people who need to work, people that, like, all these businesses are crumbling, you know, you could start to, like, let those people test. Like people that are, you know, have their businesses collapsing, you know, they need to stay open.
Yeah, that's not a bad point if you can prove that I'm going to be financially ruined.
Like, get the economy going, and then we're worried about.
Well, they're also coming up with a test, and they may have already come up with it by the time this show comes out, where they can test people, like their blood, I believe, or something, to see if they've already had it.
Oh.
So, because, you know, the asymptomatic thing, so they could test something in your blood or some sort of antibody to see if you've already had it. And if you've already had it, then it's very, very likely that you can't catch it again for a while.
Right.
So you would be technically safe as well.
Yeah.
Give me the Rona
so
test.
all that stuff has to happen.
Yeah. Well,
what were you saying?
Yeah.
Imran, what were you saying?
Oh, I said, give me the Rona test. I think I probably had it. I probably
You
had
probably
it
had
in
it, yeah.
January.
You probably were the guy that ate the pangolin or the bat.
Yeah, he's patient zero.
But they
Yeah.
put barbecue sauce on it.
Oh,
It
shit.
looks so tasty.
All it did was change your beard.
You know what? I'll eat anything, and maybe that's a problem.
is a
Maybe I
problem.
should stop that. What's
What's the weirdest thing you've eaten?
well, there's like cow tongue in Indian culture. You eat,
Right.
and it looks like a tongue.
Wait, I thought the cow was sacred and you don't eat it.
No, those are the Hindus, you racist idiot.
Well, you said Indian culture.
Yes,
Yeah, you did say Indian
I
culture.
know, but I didn't say Hindu culture. But in India, maybe it's Pakistani then.
Yeah, India and Pakistan were separated because,
but not-
or divided because of the
However,
Muslim Hindu.
Not everyone in India is
Correct.
Hindu or Muslim. There's Muslims,
Yeah,
there's
but they're all
Christians.
Indian in India.
They are Indian. So some
dick.
yes, but some of those fuckers eat cow and some don't. That's just how.
So that's what it all started. This whole thing.
No, it wasn't the cow. That's mad cow disease. That's different. Also, New Mutants was supposed to come out this weekend. I don't know if anyone is excited or
Most cursed
disappointed.
movie.
That's again, it's never this thing just
never
put
gonna
it
come
on
out.
Disney Plus already. Listener, you can join this conversation. Join our Facebook group, Jock and Nerd Nation. It's lots of fun. Lots of listeners in there. You get to meet everyone and hang out and post geeky things. And there is a special birthday. I got to say, happy birthday to my second favorite Morrison, Steve Morrison.
Whoa.
His birthday is on April 6th, so the day after this show posts. The day the show posts is my birthday,
Oh, what?
April 5th. So
How old are you turning?
we're 40 flurf.
44?
I think I will be 44. Yes. We are
Yeah, 44.
we are
44 never looked worse.
never look 44 going
44
on.
never looked like 64. Right?
Oh, shit.
44
It does now.
going on 64. What is that saying? I'm the reverse of it. I wish like a Freaky Friday with a younger person. That'd be great, but who'd want this body? God. But I'm
right behind you.
Can you record the shuffle truffle
oh wait, we'll get to the shuffle truffle.
for your 44th?
Dude, don't even. That's traumatic to be as me being a former chubby kid. The shuffle truffle is very
Warmer.
Former, yeah. Wait, who are you kidding?
Nailed it. God damn it. Okay, that's all good. That's all good.
It's in play.
It's all balls
I
in
think
play. That was not. Yes.
the judges said it was okay, so we're good to go.
Point, rug boy.
Yes, thank you.
Look, Steve
I
Morrison.
love that it's Imran's birthday and we just start ragging on him.
Birthday buddy, Steve Morrison. Happy birthday. So look back to what we were talking about. The Rona is out. Nobody's
I
going.
prefer this topic, actually.
Okay, well, what do you want? Oh, see me this. Should I get on TikTok and do shuffle
Oh,
truffle
my,
videos?
you would blow up if you
The
got on
truffle
TikTok.
shuffle.
Yeah.
It's the truffle.
Oh yeah, we're
truffle
saying it
Truffle shuffle.
backwards. Wait, Anthony, I wanted to ask you, how's the TikTok? How's that going?
It's a guilty pleasure. Let me
Yes.
tell you. Let me tell you. I'm not. I do feel dirty every time I
Oh
look
my
at
god!
it.
I think like, what age are you too old for TikTok? I don't know.
The thing is, like, I find things on there and I'm like, oh, that's kind of creative. I'm like, crap, why am I on here? What the fuck?
So you haven't contributed yet to the.
No, I haven't contributed. There's too much editing. So
yeah.
it is actually like a mini video editing studio.
So
there's a shit ton of things you can do on
I noticed
there.
there's a lot of jump cuts. People use the jump cut a lot to
There's
where
all sorts of crap.
they're
It's
like over here, then they're
so
over here.
overwhelming.
Yeah, and there's like effects and filters and
Yeah,
that's crazy. It's all in the app, huh? Man,
it's all in the app. Yeah.
China give us two great things: the Rona and TikTok. Holy shit!
Oh,
And
shit.
I'll give it credit. You can do 15. There's the 15 seconds, but you can also do a minute.
Ooh, that's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work. A minute.
I guess the new thing is the drumming with cabinet doors to Phil Collins in the air tonight.
Yeah. My buddy posted a video that got put on Barstool Chicago.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I seen a couple of these.
That came from TikTok. Some
Yeah.
old fucking guy
Yeah.
put out a TikTok video and he got like 500,000
I posted
views.
that.
Oh, that was you.
That's the old fucking guy.
I didn't know what you looked like, so I couldn't
No,
be
I
sure.
mean I posted that on my Twitter. That
Yeah,
guy,
yeah.
the old guy.
Oh, okay.
It's the
I thought that was you.
it's the greatest trend. That's the best part of that song too. Is that little fucking drum break? Forget it. Yeah, it takes like 4 minutes to get to there. Phil Collins teases the shit out of you until gives it to you. But all right, well, Truffle Shuffle on TikTok, the nerd. Listen, somebody donates enough money, I might actually fucking do it.
Oh,
you
shit.
don't say that.
Oh, boy.
There's one person I can think of right away that might.
He's like, I want to see
I
Imran's belly.
already regret saying that. I want to talk
Show
about
me your belly, Imran.
Listen, we were approaching any other year as you were into the summer blockbuster seasons of movies, except this year entirely wiped out, and it's so weird that we're not really, and then all these movies getting pushed back to next year. Next year is going to be insane. Every big franchise tentpole every weekend is going to have crazy blockbuster. The whole year will be blockbuster. But what do you guys think? Can theaters bounce back after this? What I really want to know is at what point are you going to feel comfortable sitting next to a fucking random person? Do they do just every other seat? Do they pull out every other seat or just sell in the beginning? I think that's the larger thing, because I've seen some studies where people are like, yeah, we can't wait to get back out to theaters, but when this is over, we're going to be a little bit hesitant initially, and there still will be a drop even after post-pandemic. I
mean, I think theaters, AMC is already, there's stuff coming out about AMC having to potentially not coming out of this.
Yeah, which of these chains are going to be done after this?
Things are going to definitely change. I mean, the theaters were already struggling unless you were talking about blockbusters, so... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know when I feel comfortable. It's an interesting
conversation to have. On one hand, you're going to have a bunch of people that are, itching to get the fuck out of the house.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, your people are going to be like, well, I'm used to streaming now, and I don't need to leave my house to watch anything, and I kind of like it that way. But these companies have lost money. Are there going to be bailouts? Are they going to come back that way? Or is the government going to try and push to get back to that old normalcy and do whatever it takes to do that? I don't know if that's in the cards. I don't know yet.
Who do you bail out? You have to bail out everybody. You can't just bail out everybody.
It's just print money, dude.
Yes, it's just paper. Fuck it.
We can make as much money as we want.
$50 bill, $50 bill, $50 bill.
Yeah, we can just start printing it.
This survey of 1,000 consumers in the U.S., 47% of people agreed that the idea of going to a major public event will scare me for a long time, unquote. 49% of respondents saying it would take a few months to possibly never for them to return. 28% saying they will attend less often. And then 15% they said plan on going to the movies more.
What about
often.
you? What do you think, Imran?
Fuck, I don't know. I'm going to be, and I'm thinking of...
If you're the first person to go back out.
Yeah.
I think.
I'm like,
Because you're so you don't take your life seriously at all.
It's like, whatever.
Get the fuck out of here. Yeah.
It don't matter.
All the fucking shit you've put into your body and all the things you've put up your ass.
Absolutely. PlayStation
mouth,
controllers.
Everything.
Yeah.
You don't care what happens to you. So I think you'll be out there before me. Maybe Anthony will go out because he's a millennial and they do that shit.
I mean...
But I think you're the first one. Anthony is the second one, and then I'll follow suit.
What I would say is I would probably go out. I wouldn't care about going out if I wasn't around my parents a lot.
Yeah.
That's the only concern I have. But if it was just me, I'd go out.
Yeah, the same with me. I continue to have to think about my mom who's in her 70s, and I have vitiligo, which is an autoimmune disorder, but Ruggs is kind of right to a point where I don't give a shit and I'm irresponsible. But even now, I would be hesitant to go to, I'm thinking of sporting events, concerts, any large group. It's going to take a while for that to become normal again.
So you're going to do your best to protect yourself right now. You're not taking any risks.
I mean, maybe by then everyone is wearing a mask all the time and it's just normal. I see this conversation happening. Should everyone wear masks? Should only people who feel sick?
The government, as of today, I think is going to advise that people wear something over your face.
So that's going to be crazy where everybody's wearing masks. And
I would like them to make cool masks.
Yeah, give me a Spider-Man print or something. They have some high-end cool masks.
I'm wondering about the masks. When I see a hot girl,
yes,
am I going to notice her as much?
I think it emphasizes...
Or is it going to make me more excited?
Hey, listen, this is what Muslims have been doing for years.
Absolutely. You ever heard of the hijab, Anthony? This is the exact tease. Plus, it makes you...
We're now going to institute Sharia law just to get past this.
I think we just figured out how to squash fucking coronavirus. The Sharia will kill the Rona. Get it done. But you know what? You notice their eyes more, and you're like, that girl has really pretty eyes. I don't know what the rest of her face looks like.
She's got an ass like a truck.
But she's got a beautiful eyes.
Her eyes are great.
Her eyes are
like
wonderful.
pools of water.
Yes. Just want to go swimming. But I don't know. I don't know. This is.
I like trucks.
I don't know. I am very curious to see how this all plays out. For my sake, I hope social life returns back to somewhat normal.
I mean, again,
This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy.
you know how last week we mentioned China had opened up about 700 movie theaters? Well,
Yep.
literally,
Why?
like 2 days later, they shut them down again.
Oh, shit.
Right.
They're like, whoops, sorry. No, too early. Too soon? Yeah, too soon. Shut them back down. So it's just crazy. But look, some places are trying to help. If you're still looking for content, HBO just announced they will be streaming 500 hours of free programming, including full seasons of shows like Veep, Sopranos, Silicon Valley. You don't even need to sign up. You just download HBO Now and HBO Go starting this Friday, April 3rd, which will already happen by the time you're hearing this, listener. They got True Blood, 6 Feet Under, The Wire. I've been meaning to watch The Wire. It's the one.
It's good.
That's the one show that says everyone says it is the best TV show, and I started watching the first season, but I never finished it.
Kanye's music video wasn't that great. It was whatever to me.
Wait, which one? What are you talking about?
For The Wire.
He had a music video for The Wire?
Oh, he's talking about his first song.
Yeah.
First song ever.
It's called
Through
The Wire.
Based on
Oh,
Shaka
Through the
Khan.
Wire. That's a great song because his jaw was wired shut. He's fucking
Right.
rapping through the wire. Unbelievable. I also
Anyways,
yeah, sorry. I also like Jesus Walks With Me, if that for what it's worth. It's a fucking great
okay.
song. But
I got an
yeah.
announcement after you're done.
Yeah, I'm just saying you can watch all this stuff. Noticeably absent though, Game of Thrones. They're not gonna have, so you're still gonna have to pay for the Game of Thrones, and this may be a ploy to soften people for the HBO Max launch. Be like, look, see how nice we are.
You want dragons?
You're gonna have to pony up $15 a month, but we're giving you all this shit for free. And if you're into this, listener, I would recommend watching Silicon Valley, Veep, Sopranos, all those shows. 6 Feet Under was great. Barry's great. Anthony, comment.
I just saw a tweet, or I think this is something from social media.
Don't believe
Amazon Prime Video
it. Yeah.
has announced that they're partnering with South by Southwest to do a 10-day streaming event
Yes.
from all the movies of that year.
I
of
did
this year.
see that also.
And it'll
from,
be free.
That's fucking amazing.
Geek boner.
Because the movies still get exposure, which is the point of the thing, is that these small independent movies just need a platform. And then they can get picked up by studios and
Major
everybody.
studios.
Yeah. But at that point, everybody will have seen them. But I guess you could pick up distribution. That's a great model. The free, they could have charged for that still too, really. Maybe.
I don't know. I'm just the vessel here.
Yeah, no, I saw that. That's pretty good. And not everything is canceled in terms of conventions. San Diego Comic-Con still on.
Oh, shit.
For July. For now.
This will be the first time I could ever get tickets to it.
Yes, tickets. So everybody can get tickets. If you want to brave it, listener, I'm sure it'll be wide open. I don't know. But I don't know. What would you?
Are we not going to have a summer? This is
No, that's what I'm
insane.
saying. There's no summer sports, no summer movie season, no conventions.
Why couldn't this been during the winter?
That would have been great. It kind of was. It started in the winter, but we just weren't paying fucking attention to it. And we'll see if the heat does anything. Some people are saying no. Some people are saying yes. I don't know. Also, G-Fest still on for whatever that's worth.
Oh, shit.
Locally here for kaiju fans in Chicago. And then I have one headline that I threw in because it just made me laugh. This is great. Here's the headline. Heaven decreases virgins per Muslim from 72 to 4 amid fears that large gatherings further the spread of COVID-19.
That's a jip.
I know. Well, look, Ruggs, look, I was raised Muslim, and at first I was like, this is some bullshit.
What?
But then, what am I going to do with 72 virgins? 4 is enough.
Doesn't matter.
4 is enough. I can barely handle 1. What am I going to do with 72? Like, that's too many virgins.
Listen, I would. If you're gonna live your whole life, you might as well get the extreme payout. You know what I'm saying?
Anthony, you should convert for the Muslim per virgin ratio alone.
Wait, I don't understand. What is this?
I don't even know if this is true, but somewhere there's long, like the prophets saying, or it's in the Quran, or somewhere this started.
Why does coronavirus translate to the afterlife?
That's true. That when
that seems
you're
silly
a Muslim and you die,
I'm on board with 72
you
virgins.
get to
but
heaven.
The aspect that there's a disease that carries over into the afterlife, I'm not on board with that.
You've never heard about like 72 virgins in heaven for Muslims?
No. I'm not Muslim.
Where did this come from? Yeah, it was a saying, it was a thing, but I don't.
You get a bunch of virgins when you go to heaven.
That's why you want to be a good Muslim when you're here. And when you go to heaven, you get a bunch of virgins. But
I think that if you do something, I don't even know what the fuck I'm saying. This is just, I'm going on some kind of gut instinct that I've heard this before. Okay, so all the Muslim people that listen to the show. I know that I'm completely just making bullshit up right now, but I thought that if you were doing something that was like defending the religion or like you were some kind of hero.
Yes, if you're a martyr or a jihad,
that you would be rewarded with like this great reward in the afterlife. And for some people, that would be the amount of 72 virgin girls.
Also, the translation could be off, and you could get up there, and it's actually 72 raisins.
Oh, shit.
That would suck. Yeah, I need someone to check that.
Is the word for virgin, maybe they're talking about olive oil?
Maybe it's like dates. You get 72 dates. They love dates in the Middle East.
I don't really even understand what a date is.
Oh, it's nature's fruit, Anthony. It is
it's a dried plum or something.
It has a pit.
I've had them.
Yeah.
I've had like them wrapped in bacon. I wasn't impressed.
So, I mean, if you're like doing the whole food diet and you're craving something sweet, dates is like the sweetest thing you can get.
It's too sweet.
But that's used to flavor a lot of like paleo cookies and recipes instead of sugar. But it's nature's candy.
I'd rather have raisins.
Raisins. That's about the same sugar.
Same kind of texture,
content.
right?
I love dates. No, dates you can mold into. So you know those Lara bars? You ever had a Lara bar?
Who's Laura?
Not Laura. Lara.
Tomb Raider?
The Lara bars. That's the consistency of that. It's like.
Oh,
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know what dates are. Yeah.
I don't know what a Lara bar is.
It's like the protein blocks from Snowpiercer.
I'm all about dried fruit in my diet.
Dried fruit is great.
Prunes.
Yeah. Keep it regular, Rex.
Prunes really
I like
help
to shit out a nice, smooth. I like my shit to come out looking like a
soft
beluga
serve
whale.
Yeah, there you go.
Like a porpoise. Like just smooth.
Oh, shit.
That's a good analogy.
Look at the sheen on that turd.
I said beluga first, and I was like, that's not the right kind of whale. I need a porpoise.
All right, well, look, on that shit talk, it's a great image. We're going to take a break on that shit image.
I got gold today. I'm on fire.
We're going to use that to take a break right here.
Get out of my way, Imran.
I usually prefer like either the kind of the raisiny kind of shit.
Yeah.
Where it looks like that, there's like cracks in it, or the soft serve. I like both.
You got to pull up that Bristol stool chart and give me the number. There's a chart.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
There's a chart and you can learn a lot about your insides, about how the fucking shit is coming out.
Yeah.
Same with dogs. You learn a lot about what dogs are eating. You look at their shit. I can tell you.
My shit looks like the smog monster.
Oh, God.
Oh, shit.
I can tell you looking at a dog's shit exactly what they're eating. I have now.
Really?
Yes. I can tell you if it's a good diet or a bad diet. For example, if they shit a lot, they're probably eating shitty, fillery kibble with no nutritional value, right? Now, if their shits are tight and shiny and not too big, that means
they look like porpoises.
Yes, that means they're eating really nutritional food and there's very little waste coming out. And that's what you want.
Yeah, you want your
the
shit
shiny,
to look like a porpoise.
Yes, you want the shiny dolphin shit. If you're shitting a lot, well, for dogs, anyways, that's just what I've noticed from observation. There's your dog tip from the Jock and Nerd podcast or this episode.
No porpoises were harmed in the making of this podcast.
Yes.
Just say.
All right, with that, we're going to take a break. It's some promos, and we'll be right back to review Goonies right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Do you watch Friends?
Do you watch How I Met Your Mother? Then you should listen to How I Met Your Friends.
Hi, I'm Kathleen.
And I'm Julie, and we are the ladies behind How I Met Your Friends, the podcast that explores the similarities and theories of Friends and How I Met Your Mother.
Every week, we watch an episode from each show and dive deep into the crossovers and catchphrases. So if you've ever noticed the similarities between these fantastic shows, come check out our podcast.
You can reach us on social media at How I Met Your Friends Pod or email howimetyourfriendspod@gmail.com.
Hey, this is Evan.
Hey, Jason Underwood.
And we hope you're enjoying the shows on the Danger Entertainment Network, now including the Bearded Ones comedy podcast.
Yeah, we're super thrilled to be a part of this awesome lineup, guys. And what we do here on our show is, look, we are just trying to make you guys laugh through all kinds of different avenues.
Hear me out here. Yeah. Hear me out.
Please.
What we are is we're two geeky white dudes talking and trying to be funny.
Yeah, not try to blow in your mind here with with something brand new, but
you never heard anything like this. We talk about Star Wars. We're talking about superheroes.
Talking about Marvel movies, man. Look, we're cutting some we're breaking some damn boundaries over here.
We are breaking new ground.
Yeah.
But for real, what we do is we play invented games.
Yeah, and we try to spin everything into a brand new fun game that we've made up. We filter it all through that sensibility, and
we're both improvisers, so a lot of what we talk about ends up in sort of a scene that we have a lot of fun with. We talk about our lives, pop culture, and movies. We talk about a little bit of everything. So if that's what you like, check us out, Bearded Ones Comedy Podcast on the Danger Entertainment Network.
They look like Vikings.
Listener, if you've been enjoying the show, join our fan club. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon. We appreciate everyone's continued support, and everybody gets bonus content, early access to the shows, and an exclusive RSS feed. Speaking of bonus content.
Oh, shit.
Holy shit, Anthony's just eating movies like fucking Cookie Monster over there.
Like pussy.
Yeah, just, there you go. Look, what was that stuff we used to eat back in the day? Oh, yeah. That's right. He's just lapping it up. Wiping his lips.
The fountains.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Drinking out of a fire hose.
Great.
Yes. So you posted a bunch of things, Anthony. What?
Well, you did. I just recorded it.
And he sent them to me, and I posted them. But
yes.
What do we have this week? Some of these movies later on I want to talk about, but what did you put up?
These, since we last recorded, I've watched Uncut Gems.
Nice.
A History of Violence.
Right.
Black Klansman. Do the Right Thing.
Love the Spike Lee connection.
Knives Out.
Yeah.
And then I just had recorded, and Imran will put it up by the time the show airs, Out of Sight.
Damn. So, and then Ruggs, you submitted some shit too. What'd you watch and do a Corona binge report?
Reservoir Dogs.
Ooh.
As a request from our old pal Seth Morgan.
Yeah, I'll explain that in a second.
I also did Bloodshot.
Holy shit.
And I did a little mini review of Devs halfway through the season. So.
Yes.
Bloodshot, the movie 7 people in the world have seen.
Yes, now 8.
Now I have seen it.
You know, the streaming for Bloodshot may actually help this movie make more money than it probably was going to make.
I don't know.
I feel like the streaming is good for like these low budget risks that people I think are going to flop anyways. Like,
I don't know if Bloodshot was a low budget risk.
I don't know about no budget, but like New Mutants, like just fucking put it out on streaming. Do the same thing.
All I have
$20.
to say about Bloodshot, the
Yes.
only thing that I came out of Bloodshot with was, damn, the girl in that movie is really, 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 really attractive.
There you go.
And that's it. That's all I can tell you about
it.
that movie.
Well, so these are our Corona binge reports for our Patreon supporters, but some of these, listener, are posted for free, so you can get a sample of what we have on our Patreon. Just go to jockandnerd.com/Patreon, and they're posted for free because our patron saint of awesome, Seth Morgan, has sent us donations for individual movie reviews. He is picking movies for each of us to watch and review.
Oh, shit.
And I love that. It's a great idea. So these are going to be all free. So Anthony did History of Violence, that Viggo Mortensen movie. That's free. I put a Corona binge report of Platoon, which is one of the movies he picked for me. That's free. And Rugboy, your Reservoir Dogs review is also free. Those are sponsored reviews. We thank Seth Morgan so much and all of you guys so much for your continued support. I also watched Knives Out, and I did an instant reaction for that great movie. Well,
I got one thing to say though about the movies I've watched.
yes.
Just if anyone gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Out of all the movies I've watched this past week or since we recorded, I would say Uncut Gems was my favorite.
Ah, interesting. Okay, out of all of those.
Yeah.
I like that movie. It was just an assault on my senses. But I think that you probably got more out of it because you're like a jock and you like sports.
Yes.
So that connection was more.
I'm dying to see that because I think Sandler.
I feel like if I would have been more of a jock and into sports and stuff, I probably would have liked that movie a little bit more.
Oh yeah, that movie is a great term. Assault on your senses. It's literally like watching your buddy that is a scumbag just make terrible decision after terrible
and
decision.
you're just like, what are you doing?
But you still hope he can pull through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Sandler looks amazing in that. And
he's really good in it.
Yeah, I think he's got some chops. Nobody knew. Anyway,
I think people knew. You just had to put him in the right roles. When you leave him to his own devices. I wasn't really that
surprised by what he did. He's done stuff like this in Punch Drunk Love and other movies.
Yeah.
So I'm not really shocked that he could act. It's just the way that the Zofty brothers made this movie was like an assault on your senses. It was a lot of stuff just really up in the register in your hearing and stuff when you're watching.
Wow.
Yeah.
I want to watch it. I'm going to watch it.
A lot of yelling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of
people yelling at each other.
That's what Rex said initially. You're like, it's just 2 hours of people yelling.
It really is.
Yeah. I'm like, great.
Well, it was a brilliant movie.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But it was like, woo. I need to smoke a joint after this.
The point is, you want all this bonus content, sign up, jockandnerd.com/Patreon. All right, on with our Patreon listener-sponsored movie review, because that's another thing you could do on the Patreon. If you give us $10 a month or more, you get to pick.
You get all of us to review.
You get all of us to review. We put it in the show. We put it on Patreon. And you can pick any movie you want. And that's what we're going to do right now. We are reviewing Goonies from 1985. Here's your spoiler alert.
It's Chump. I just saw the most amazing thing in my entire life. First, you got to do the truffle shuffle. Come on. Do it. Come on. Do it. Put it out, Mo.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
This one is sponsored by, dedicated to the awesome Lisa Morrison. It's her second Patreon pick. We did Serenity for her first pick. And she originally gave the second pick to Steve Morrison, who had picked Wolf Cop. And if we really wanted to do something nice for Steve on his birthday, we would have done Wolf Cop, but here we are.
Steve doesn't get nice things for his birthday.
You know what, Steve? I have a feeling we're going to get around to Wolf Cop eventually, because how can you not want to see a movie called Wolf Cop? So she suggested a classic movie, Goonies, which I'm so glad. It's one of the movies that, I want Anthony to watch, a movie that everybody's seen, that he hasn't seen. And I just want to thank Lisa Morrison for being a patron for 27 months.
Oh, shit.
Thank you.
We appreciated the classic cult hit Goonies. This movie on Rotten Tomatoes, 71%, 6.17 average rating, audience score 91%. Audiences love it. The budget of this movie way back was kind of high for 85, $19 million. But in the first year, it ended up making $61 million worldwide and was number 10, top 10 highest grossing movie of 1985. So that's not a bad return. Made triple its money back, and goes on, of course, VHS, DVD, beta, any kind of format, cult classic hit. Everybody has a copy of this movie, which is directed by Richard Donner. Anthony, you're familiar with the name Richard Donner?
I will say, just real quick, I know who Richard Donner is. He directed Superman. This is like a kind of an all-star group. You got Richard Donner directing, screenplay by Chris Columbus, who did Home Alone and some other stuff, and then Steven Spielberg did the story and helped produce.
Yep. So this is Spielberg, Chris Columbus, Richard Donner. This guy's
Didn't know that those three were involved in the movie.
one of the reasons why this is like a cult classic, and you get the charm you get from this movie. So, Anthony, you've never seen this.
Never.
We were talking before how you have seen the GIFs of Chunk doing the truffle shuffle, but you were like,
no idea.
what the fuck is that?
I think that's a disturbing image. What is that?
Yes, now you know, but give us the quick plot. What happens in this movie?
It's about this group of kids in Oregon, I believe, or Washington, Oregon.
It's Oregon, Astoria,
Yeah.
Oregon.
And they live on this place by the lake or by the ocean.
On the ocean, yeah.
Yeah. And they're called the Goonies. They live on the Goondocks. And all their houses are going to be bought out by this rich guy that wants to build golf courses. So this is their last day to hang out together, and they stumble upon in Sean Astin's character, what's his name?
Mikey.
They go up to the guy's basement because his dad is a museum collector or museum.
His
involved
attic
museum.
office, yeah.
Yeah. And they come across a treasure from the original Goonie that was trying to discover it in a pirate ship, and they go on this adventure to discover this treasure to save their houses, and along the way they run into a criminal family that is on their tail.
It's a
bunch of kids.
Yeah, and it's a bunch of kids. It's a little bit of a bunch of genres. This cast is amazing. You have, like you just said, Sean Astin in I believe this is his feature film debut, playing Mikey. Josh Brolin, anyone? Thanos?
Had
Cable?
no idea.
Fucking young-ass Josh Brolin as his brother Brand. Jeff Cohen as Chunk. Corey Feldman. It's got a Corey as Mouth. Carrie Green playing the love interest Andy. Martha Plimpton, another great 80s and 90s actress, playing Steph.
Carrie Green, great.
Carrie Green.
Just great to look at.
Yes, Carrie Green is perfect, like 80s cheerleader.
80s teenager hot girl.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kei Hui Kwan playing Data, and he had 2 years earlier.
$50 bill. $50 bill.
Dude, have you seen Temple of Doom? Indiana Jones Temple of Doom?
I have.
It's Short Round.
That's right.
Hang on, lady. We go for a ride. Data is great. John Matsoukas as Sloth. Is that a football player is what I found out?
Yeah.
The dude is huge. Robert Davi playing Jake Fratelli. Joey Pants. Joe Pantoliano. Cypher from The Matrix. He was in the Memento. He was in
Daredevil.
He was in Daredevil. He's in Sopranos, an amazing role playing Francis Fratelli, and then Anne Ramsey, the wonderful Anne Ramsey, Mama Fratelli. Of course, her best role, one of my favorites role, Throw Mama from the Train, playing another Mama.
Yeah,
I love her. And it's just an amazing 80s cast. A lot of these guys went on, obviously, to do great things.
Now,
yes.
I would like to ask you about your experience when you watched this the first time when you were a child.
Well, should we do that, or should we find out what Anthony thinks watching this as an adult for the first time?
I mean, we can, but I feel like it'll spoil my exuberance once I hear he's like, it's all right.
Okay, you know what? This time Anthony goes last because I agree. I'm not
go in the order of who's seen it first.
I'm okay. So I'll go. I remember this movie. I've seen this movie so many times. This is one of those great movies that when you're done, when you're a kid, you watch this. I mean, it's aimed squarely at 12-year-olds, but it's also one of the first movies that was for kids and adults as well. You want to get on your bicycle. You are one thing of freedom you have when you're a kid and grab your friends and have an adventure. I watched it again, and it has tons of contrivances and conveniences and plot holes, but none of that shit matters. This is the original Stranger Things. If the kids love Stranger Things now, this is the original Stranger Things. I love the sense of adventure, horror. It's a teen romance. It's a comedy. There's an Indiana Jones treasure hunt. It's a coming of age story. It's like a crime thriller. It's all these movies mushed into one, and it just makes me feel good inside every time I watch it. It's safe. You know, I love Chunk and Sloth. And
you say it's safe?
It's. Did I say it's safe? It makes me feel safe in the term that it takes me back to like the innocent 80s, being a kid, and how like there was a different sense of innocence back then that's not around really anymore. Maybe it's just because I was a kid, But the movie has great, authentic kids, good friendship. So I still love watching this movie, and whenever it's on, I will watch it. And I was more than happy to watch it again. Ruggs, what was your experience when you first saw this?
Well, okay, I did not see this in the theater.
Yeah.
All right.
I think I saw it on video too, like soon after. I don't think I saw it.
So basically, the 80s, at the time when this came out, I was probably like, I don't know, how old are you when you saw this? Like 10 years old, Imran, or something like that?
I think I was 11
All right,
or
so
12.
11 or 12.
Yeah.
All right, so I was probably around that, maybe 13 years old when this came out. And I think that you had two ends of the spectrum. You had like the really good 80s kid going out on an adventure movie, which is Stand By Me.
Yeah.
All right. Stand By Me is a fucking classic. It's a Stephen King thing. It has the same kind of, it has a Corey in it. It has everything. The acting is better. The story is gripping.
Who directed that? Was that Spielberg? That's a Spielberg.
I don't know.
No.
Off the top of my head.
Rob Reiner.
Oh, Rob Reiner. That's why. Okay.
And then you had this one. He's like the goofier brother of Stand By Me.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it as much as Stand By Me. But I remember this is the memory that I had. I remember that we rented this. And we were with my cousin and my uncle. And my cousins and my uncle, we would go and hang out with them all the time. And we rented this movie where it was on HBO. I don't remember exactly what the conditions were, but we all sat down and watched this movie. And my uncle was losing his shit the whole movie.
He loved it?
Just laughing his ass off.
Yeah.
He knew the lines before and he would repeat it. And I was like, this motherfucker loves this movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it must be good, I guess. I guess it's good. And so I didn't really get it until I watched it like a little bit later on in life when like people were like, oh, you remember the Goonies?
Yeah.
And I really don't remember the Goonies. So I watched it and I kind of developed like this 80s kind of like this 80s, it has this 80s-ness to it that I love.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I love about the movie. It's the 80s-ness of it. Not the movie itself. There's certain things that I love about it, and we'll get into it later, but the only way I can encompass it is that it's a very 80s, I guess the aesthetic is there.
Yeah.
Of like where they write the movie and you just have to fucking go along with it.
Yeah.
Plot holes.
Yeah.
Who the fuck cares?
Doesn't matter.
Kids, the parents, they don't matter.
Yeah,
like all of those things.
Yeah.
Like, like if you watch, another one of my favorite one of these that, is, The Monster Squad.
Yes.
Which is like Goonies, Halloween.
Yeah.
That's another one of these movies. The parents not anywhere. They're fucking kids with shotguns for some reason. Like you just have to fucking go with it. That in the 80s, kids just fucking did shit and no one would stop them.
I do agree. Stand By Me is by far the better movie, but this movie is in that same tier, in that group of like your Flight of the Navigator, Explorers, A Never Ending Story, Monster Squad. Like all these movies just give me that same lovely nostalgic thrill of growing up in the 80s and being a kid and going on an adventure. Anthony, what is this movie to an adult millennial now who's never seen it? I can't wait to find out.
So I'll start off by saying it's solid. It's entertaining. There's a lot of points where I laughed. I enjoyed the ride. I can only imagine that being a kid and watching this, how much I probably would have loved this.
Yeah.
And I feel like the love that I have for Home Alone is what I would have had for this if I was a kid and had seen it as a kid. Because Home Alone I revere, and I still go back and watch it, and it makes me feel like a kid.
Yeah.
Whereas, this obviously is the first time I've ever seen it.
Yeah.
I can tell right away, obviously it's a kiddie movie.
Yeah.
It's silly. But I'll give it credit. It's an entertaining plot. The chemistry between the kids and some of the dialogue from the kids is hilarious. Yeah. Chunk and Data especially are great. They do have the hot girl that we mentioned, Carrie Green, which I always enjoy. This sounds weird as an adult, but I've always enjoyed like a little teenage romance throughout a film.
Yes.
So it has all those elements. It has a fun plot. It has a fun interaction with the kids. I was entertained.
It has everything.
It's not something where I'm going to be like revere. Like I don't come out of this going, man, that's an all-time movie, and it's one of my all-time favorites. Yeah. I can understand why it is.
Yeah.
It's just different having seen it now as a 32-year-old rather than ever seeing it as a kid or even like a teenager.
I mean, to Rugboy's point, I think they do a great job of keeping adults entertained as well as the kids. And I think this was one of the first times you saw that kind of sensibility and that thought.
I'll point out, too, that you don't see it often nowadays, but the kids swearing and all the sex references and starting off the movie with a dude faking hanging himself. Like, that's all stuff you wouldn't see.
I forgot that's how the movie started. When it started, I was like, holy fuck, I don't remember this. And I'm like, oh, yeah, he's fucking...
I did some research at all the TV showings of the movie that
They cut that
didn't start
out. That's why I don't remember that.
It started with them putting the gasoline there right by the jail.
I see. As they're coming out, when because that is a fucking hard sell in the beginning of a kid's movie. To have a guy fucking hanging there. Like, can we talk about these characters? First of all, clearly I identified with a couple of them, like Chunk. Chunk was one of them. The truffle shuffle was the worst thing for a chubby kid that was invented, because once that movie came out, all the bullies were making fat kids do the truffle shuffle.
That was like, I was like, oh, I can do that to my friends now? Oh, this is great.
Chunk is so great. And then Data, I swear, I made contraptions like Data. He inspired me so much. I loved his little fucking, all his little booty traps. That's what I said. Like the pincers of peril, oil slick shoes. I remember I had a skateboard and those, the guns that shoot those suction cup, darts. And I took it apart and I built a thing on my skateboard to shoot darts with a string attached. And the Rube Goldberg devices, the fact that they do it in the beginning with the gate and then you see it, One-Eyed Willie's setup of it in the cave. I would do that shit too. Like I remember I had a Rube Goldberg device where I could pull a string and the light switch would go on. That was all the way over there.
That was a real 80s thing. Like Pee-wee's Big Adventure had it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Everybody was doing
so they had the Rube Goldberg thing. The thing about Chunk, that you bring him up, is that he also has one of the best scenes in the movie where he is being interrogated and he's telling them every fucking thing that he's done wrong. And that's one of the most hilarious parts of the whole movie to me.
That is funny. I'll add on to that when he gets put on the floor and he just immediately starts eating ice cream after he was getting interrogated, and then he licks the spoon and they take that from him too.
And then he just starts
that whole segment, him having the innate ability to just smell food.
Yes,
and then his lines are just they're really funny. I mean, it's
him
very
breaking
clever.
The statue and putting the dick on wrong.
It's like, what's wrong with it? I love Chunk.
My mom's favorite part.
And I love how they use him in the plot. Like, you want something broken? Let's get Chunk. You just gotta
can you hold this for a second? And he immediately breaks it.
Fucking
I mean, I remember this, because I have some people in my family that are of Italian descent.
Yeah.
And I remember that, they're not speaking clear Italian. It's like clearly actors trying to pretend to speak Italian.
Oh, okay.
And now that I look at it, if I'm looking at it from a woke perspective,
it's a little stereotypey.
It's insulting.
Yes.
But at the time, I remember my uncle was just fucking totally, he didn't think it was insulting at all. He thought it was the greatest thing that he was like, that they had some Italian mobsters in a big movie.
Yeah.
So, it's weird when I just remember looking at it from that point of view in the 80s, there was no issue with the fact that they're speaking like completely wrong Italian, and this woman that's the mother is clearly not Italian.
Yes, she's speaking no Italian.
Well, I enjoy that right in the beginning when they're in the hideout restaurant. I forget who exactly, but they refer to her as Sir. She looks at them all weird. That you wouldn't see the making fun of the gender now.
Yeah,
these days.
No, that's a thing you don't do anymore. Did they throw the F word around?
No,
I don't think they did the F word, but they said shit.
They said shit a lot.
I'm talking about the F word in terms of sexuality.
Oh,
the other F word.
I think they might.
Oh,
I don't remember if
because in Monster Squad, that's usually they say it like 1,000.
This is a PG movie. Also, there's like lots of shit.
But they might have said it. I don't remember.
I feel like they said it at least once or twice.
I feel like if it was one of the Fratellis that said it.
I don't remember.
Maybe.
I always thought that band, the Fratellis, was they named themselves after these guys in the movie, but the band's last name is actually just Fratellis. They're actually brothers. So
I mean, one of the enjoyable things that even now as an adult is that each of these characters
means brothers.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Each of these characters, in the Goonie group, there's some part of you that can relate to one of them, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're just an absolute asshole.
Yeah.
All these guys, even Josh Brolin's character Brandon, you can relate to him in some ways. Like he's a cool guy, but he's not cool enough to hang with the cool kids.
Right.
He's the coolest guy among little kids.
Yes. He loves stealing bikes from little Asian girls for some reason.
He said he was going to give it back.
So apparently, because I did a little research, that little Asian girl is Data's sister.
Oh, that's Data's sister. That was
they
in
live
there.
right. They live right next to one another.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, everyone. And I love the small town. There's a making of documentary where they talk about it's a real town. That house is actually a real house. People go there all the time and want to take pictures, and the owners are just fucking annoyed. But they, instead of building the inside of the house on a soundstage, they shot everything outside of the attic stuff in the house, and all the locations was actually, that is Astoria, Oregon, which I thought was really cool. I love Chunk and Sloth and their relationship. And that's another thing. Like, you couldn't make this movie today, because here you have a guy with deformities and we're just calling him a monster and, chaining him down. Like, there's so many things that you probably could have made this movie today.
Now,
you got away with it.
I want to give my personal opinion on this whole Sloth.
Okay, let's hear it.
So this is going to sound horrible.
Okay.
All right. But and this is absolutely true. And I don't really get into the realities of my life, but this is absolutely true. I figured that, fuck it, I'm going to say it on this podcast because it's funny. So my relatives don't come from America. They're from, Europe, Eastern Europe, Italy, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And they're very ass backwards, Europeans. And they have all these superstitions and weirdness.
Yeah.
So when they moved here, we had an aunt that was mentally ill. And she couldn't, they were either so embarrassed or they couldn't, or they were so not able to deal with her being around other people that they kept her locked in a room.
Oh my God. Okay.
And you'd never see her.
Yeah.
And you'd hear the voice come out of the room.
You're like, oh.
It was locked from the outside. And then every once in a while, my grandmother would go in and bring in food.
Yeah. It's a lot like Sloth.
I felt like, when I was watching the Goonies, I was watching my aunt.
Oh my God.
And my great aunt.
Oh shit. Yeah.
And I felt a lot of empathy for Sloth, because I was like, he's just misunderstood. And this is the greatest end to that story. So after my grandmother passes away, there's no one that to take care of this woman, and nobody else wants to do it. So they ship her back off to Europe, where they have universal health care. And she got put into a place, I guess, like a home. And she made friends.
Oh, wow.
She had a little bit of normalcy in her life, and she was able to actually have a good rest of her life. So I think that portrayal of the Italian weirdos, these European people locking up this deformed person and treating them like an animal, I think there's some reality to that.
That's really interesting. And it makes me Sloth. I related to him also because you got to understand, when I was 12, I was a little patchy vitiligo kid. I had little white patches everywhere. And here is a character with physical deformities that ends up being the hero that's actually lovable. And Ruggs, what you just said about Italian families, no disrespect to my parents, but they were immigrants also, and they also didn't know what to do. They would make me wear long sleeve shirts, and I never wore shorts, and I always kind of felt like they wanted me to hide it and not it to be too.
As they should.
Yes, it was a freak show. Nobody should look at that. Nobody should be forced to look at that. Cover up, you little fucking fuck. So I could relate. They didn't lock me in a closet. All I'm saying is there was little subtle things where I think back, and I'm like, they didn't want me to fucking show my skin or something. And it was weird. They didn't know what to do. I don't blame them, but that's why I always felt in line with Sloth. And
I just feel like it's really interesting to know that, back in the 80s, it was just cool to lock people in your own prison in your house or in a basement somewhere in a restaurant because, that's what you do.
What else are you going to do with them?
Well, I mean, it is a woke ish movie in the sense that the deformed guy is actually a kind, gentle giant that's a sweetheart, and he's kind of the hero of the movie.
Yeah. Hey, you guys!
Misunderstood.
That's like one of the greatest fucking scenes.
He just wants to watch cartoons and eat
Baby
ice
Ruth.
cream.
Yes, Baby Ruth.
And be Superman.
So, yes, and that was great because it's Richard Donner. He rips off the shirt. You see the Superman insignia, and you hear the theme for a second. And I was like, Donner, fucking pull that music out. He's like, I'm using this. I'm not paying you money. I'm going to use it. I love the sets in this movie. The fucking all of the kind of the Indiana Jones tunnels and they built that ship.
That's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of like kid Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
The sets were so good that one scene where he puts the little like pen amulet thing to like up against the rocks is so bad in comparison.
Yeah. Yes.
None of the rocks actually fit into the little holes in that little like amulet thing. But that's what makes it so noticeable is that everything else is actually so well done.
Yeah.
Especially for the time.
The one thing about this movie is that, okay, so they set off the One-Eyed Willie thing and the ship takes off off the harbor. And and they're like, oh, it's gone forever. I'm like, no, it's not. It's just going to go so you can get it.
You go get it. You could get all the gold. It's right there. Just go fucking get the ship.
We have boats with motors on them now.
It's the 80s. Well, there's so many questions, though. Like, at the end when he lights the dynamite that was in his bag and they were in water. And it's fucking still goes off when they were lighting the dynamite before and it never blew up. And even in the beginning, the suicide guy, like, why is that guy not in a prison jumpsuit? Why is there only one guard there? There's so many fucking, and like, people just show up in places that took them a really hard, long time to get to. And then you turn around and they're just fucking right there. So there's tons of those things, but it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter.
No.
It's not the type of movie where you count all the errors.
Yeah.
It's
well, that's 80s filmmaking.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck it. You're at a movie. Just go with it.
Yeah. The suspension of disbelief.
You want entertainment? Here we go.
Yeah.
Like, suck it up, dudes.
One of my little favorite moments is when Sean Astin kisses Carrie Green.
She's like,
and she thinks it's his older brother.
Does Brand have braces? When did he get braces?
He must watch out for the hole there.
Yes, he was standing in it.
He was standing in it.
Apparently, Carrie Green didn't want to do any of those kissing scenes. I read somewhere she was very uncomfortable, especially with little Sean Astin. Because
her character was just like she shows up to make out with people.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
She's written pretty much as a bimbo.
Yes,
she's just there to be the love interest, and that's it.
She just shows up and is like automatically like trying to fuck Thanos.
Yeah,
she's just like ready to go.
This guy's gonna be Thanos.
That scene where they kiss.
Yeah,
I was like, where are they? Are they going with this? Where Sean Astin's character is going to be the one that gets her?
Yeah.
And I was thinking, this is like a weird Phantom Menace thing where they casted, what's that actress's name?
Natalie Portman versus little Anakin.
The little dude.
Yeah.
Where it's like, they're clearly like 6 years apart in age.
No, it was a misunderstanding, which was hilarious. But there's so many great moments in this movie. I love the moment. So she's a bimbo, but then there's that moment where they find a way out. And she sends his jacket, his sweater back up, and they all decide to stay and keep going, which is kind of this is our time now. Down here, this is our time. Goonies never die. And that was a great thing. Be Goonies with your buddies. But
you could be a Goonie.
You could be a Goonie. There is a couple of weird things too at the end. Like if you notice when at the beach, when Chunk comes up, he mentions that they fought an octopus. I was like,
what?
No, that's Data that mentions that.
Oh, Data says it? Apparently, there was a whole scene where they did fight an octopus in the tunnels.
I saw that. I watched that scene after.
Oh, you did? You found it?
So it doesn't make any goddamn sense. So there's an octopus in the
tunnels?
In the water.
Yeah.
No, in the water where the ship is.
Oh, okay.
And Data stops the octopus from attacking them by taking his camera and shoving it in its mouth.
Oh. No, it was a Walkman. Apparently, I think it was a
Walkman. Yeah,
it was like Cyndi Lauper songs.
It made absolutely no sense.
And that's what killed the giant octopus, was a Walkman into the mouth.
The octopus eats it and then just lets everyone go.
You can cut that. I feel like they had a lot of things that were probably cut out of here.
I feel like it needed something there.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe it wasn't good. Huh?
I mean, it's like a 2-hour runtime as it is. I don't know what. It's just weird they left that octopus line in, because I was like, the fuck is he talking about? Octopus.
Well, I took it as him exaggerating what had happened.
Now, how many 80s like adventure, like kid adventure movies have you seen, Anthony?
Not very many.
Yeah.
So this one is like probably this and Home Alone are the only ones, I guess.
I mean, I would consider it's not really an adventure movie, but Karate Kid was a big part of my.
All right.
Yeah, that's the 80s. Yeah, that's the 80s.
That's still more of a legitimate film.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, this is more of like a fucking, I don't know. But Stand By Me, you should, if you haven't watched Stand By Me.
Stand By Me is great, yes.
I did enjoy Corey Feldman in that.
Yeah.
In this, so.
They do share a lot of DNA.
Mouth.
Corey Feldman is better in Stand By Me.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have a lot of things that are very similar.
Yeah.
But
that's based off a Stephen King short story. So
Stand By Me is a lot more serious.
Yeah, it's a little more serious. But then there's that whole crazy, like the story within a story of the puking, which is a similar story that Chunk says.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. That's
when they're interrogating him.
Well, the thing that I kept thinking about throughout this movie is, man, I probably would have really appreciated this if I was like in the 80s and watched it.
When you're a kid and you see this, it's the greatest.
It's a completely different experience.
The greatest
I
thing
remember
ever.
watching this and see. This is my mindset when I was a kid. I wasn't interested in kids doing anything.
Yeah,
I was interested in like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone, somebody who was oiled up and had no chest hair.
Yeah.
And huge muscles and guns, taking care of business with a sword or something, you know? So like when I watched this movie, I was like, oh, like these kids, like what are they going to do? And I didn't really get it. Like I was so binary of like what an action hero was. And so for me, it was just like, it's fun. It's a fun movie, but I won't really, whatever. My uncle seemed to like it a lot. And, but then like, as I grew up, everybody just kept on telling me how much they love this movie. And I was like, I got to watch it again. And then like Anthony, I was a little bit older and I think I was already like 15, 16, 17 years old when I saw it again. And I was like, I get it. I get it. And now it's like, I've seen it so many times that it's just part of who I am.
It's a cult classic. It's a feel-good movie, and you're rooting, against the evil developer.
I could see someone seeing it and not enjoying it, but I think that there's something for everyone there.
But do they even make movies like this anymore? I feel like this genre...
Well, Stranger Things. They make shows.
Now they make shows. Exactly. And like Sean Astin was in season 2 of Stranger Things too, which is nice little tie around. But that is just playing off the nostalgia of these kind of movies, and they're...
So, who's the biggest star that came out of this movie?
Wow, that's a good question.
Sean Astin?
Well, you got Sean Astin.
Thanos?
Or Sean...
Well, I think it was Sean Astin immediately, like in the first 10 to 15 years after, but Brolin really came on
in the last few
No Country
years.
for Old Men and all that stuff.
Because the heavyweights in this it's the Corey.
The Coreys. Yeah.
Thanos and Sean Astin. Those are the three.
Chunk is not fat anymore. Jeff Cohen.
Which one's the Corey?
Mouth.
Oh, Feldman.
Yeah. I love him translating for the Spanish Maid in the beginning. It was fucking great.
Yeah.
Put all the drugs in here.
But the Data, he didn't become anything special after, but he's one of the most iconic kids in the movie.
Short Round and Data as two huge kids roles.
I mean, he's right up there with Macaulay Culkin almost.
Absolutely.
In terms of a kid.
And then Sean Astin had the Lord of the Rings playing Samwise Gamgee was huge for him.
Sean Astin, he also had Rudy.
He did Rudy afterwards, and then he did Stranger Things, and he was on a season 24 also for a little bit. But Brolin, who would have thought that brand would grow and eventually become
Brolin's
Thanos?
got Thanos.
Yes.
He's got No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
He was in Men in Black.
I also think Joey Pantoliano has an amazing filmography, and he is a great actor, and he's been in some amazing movies.
Yeah, Joey Pants is
Pants is the fucking bomb.
Brolin has done No Country for Old Men. He was George W. Bush in W.
Oh, that's right.
Jonah Hex, Men in Black 3.
Oh, yeah. He's done lots.
Yeah, Sin City, and then all the Marvel stuff.
I think Brolin might be the heavy hitter right now
Cable.
out of all of these.
Oh, yeah, he was Cable.
Yeah, he really come on.
Martha Plimpton, you would see in a lot of TV shows and a lot of 80s and 90s movies. She hasn't done stuff.
Were they trying to make her get with Corey?
Yes, they and I remember.
That's what I thought was happening in the movie.
I remember at the end those two like kissed, but that didn't happen.
They didn't kiss.
But
she was just like, "You're pretty cool." Like you're pretty cool. Or something like that.
She's like,
You can't touch my boobs, but I like you.
She's like, your voice is nice when
if
you're.
If you were a chick, I'd be into you.
I liked the line though of going back to the kids stuff or the people kissing. Carrie Green goes something along the lines to Sean Astin's character. If you keep kissing girls like that, you're gonna be like on your way. Or something. I'm like, and I was like, even
damn.
watching that now, I was like, damn, how did he kiss her?
Oh shit!
If a girl like that said something to me, like that to me as a kid, oh my God, I'd have a boner the size of Florida,
Absolutely.
like Robin Williams in Fisher King.
Geek boner.
That would make my life.
That was
as a kid. If a girl like that said something to me,
yeah, you're like, you have to tell all my friends right now what you just said.
Yeah,
let's get this on tape. And then of course Anne Ramsey does Throw Mama from the Train with Billy Crystal, Danny DeVito, fucking fantastic movie. But yeah, it's gonna be Brolin. I love the Cyndi Lauper music, also very fitting. But it has that Chris Columbus vibe with a little Spielberg and and Richard Donner's sensibilities all in there. I think really pulled this movie together.
It also had the something that Home Alone kind of took away too, is there's not really any serious consequences for pain.
Yes.
Right? Like Josh Brolin's character gets thrown off a mountain at like 60 miles an hour on a bike.
Oh yeah, and he's fine. The next time you see him,
walks away. He's fine.
It's fine. Oh, shit. The next time you see him, he's totally fine. How about the Fratelli brothers that are landing on their nuts on the fucking pole? That's Home Alone humor. That's that's the beauty of this. This is a amazing like comic book cartoony adventure for these kids, which is why when I was a kid, I just fucking loved this movie because it's outlandish. It's a little, it's absurd. And it's just slapstick comedy for the sake of comedy.
Well, and my thing when coming into this is obviously not having much of an expectation other than when you guys would reference Stranger Things.
Yeah.
I had no idea where it was going. I was going, is this just like a kid movie where they're just hanging out? And then they go down this tunnel and there's these like criminals. I'm like, okay, what? And then there's a monster in the tunnel. And then they're going and finding a pirate ship. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
It's 15 genres smashed together.
Oh shit.
But it works. Like it's not too many things. Like
Look, they just did that in the 80s. Like if you ever watched The Last Dragon, it's a kung fu movie with like rap music in it and breakdancing.
It's like Breakin' meets Mortal Kombat. What is this?
Yeah, we should watch that movie. That's
The Last Dragon. That might be a good one. There has been rumors of a sequel for years, and then they were thinking about a musical. What do you? I'd say it's a classic. Don't touch it. But if you were to reboot it, it may be interesting to have these kids.
This concept has been done many times. Save the House, they've done that before.
And it is Stranger Things a little bit.
I read that the only reason they haven't is they can't get everyone to show interest in doing the sequel. You need but they'd want everyone to come back. I don't know. I don't know what the dynamic would be with them as all adults.
Well, then you'd need a set of kids like to have the adventure.
It's their
maybe
kids.
Yeah, their kids would be doing it. But that's fucking Stranger Things. We already have that. Like I don't know what you could add to this. Maybe One-Eyed Willie pirate stash. I don't know. Also, this movie has a great Drew Struzan poster, which gets points. Any movie that has a Drew Struzan poster.
Even that poster I was looking at, I'm going,
isn't that crazy?
No, I was just going, what the fuck is this movie about?
Right? You can't really tell, but once you see it, the poster suddenly makes sense.
A little more sense.
I was reading, I saw they did have that documentary. They talked about how the production designer put his actual blood on the map because he couldn't find the right shade of blood and he wanted the map to look good. And
wait the hell.
So he just put his own fucking blood on there and made it real. But I love the map. I love them playing the Bones piano and the stupid jokes where he's like, if you get it wrong, we'll all be flat. Flat. Just like, it's so great. It's so fucking good. And you just want to be a Goonie forever. All right, let's rate the fucking movie. Anthony, what would you give this movie as an adult watch?
Rug Boy said this earlier, but I get it. Like I watched the film, and by the end of it, even throughout, I was going, I get it. Like I get why this became a thing. I get why people enjoy this. And again, if I was a kid watching this back in the day, I probably would have had this almost the same. No one can match Imran's enthusiasm. But I would have had a decent amount of enthusiasm for it. As an adult, I get it. I'm going to give it, because it is geared towards kids and I'm watching it as an adult, I'm going to give it a 7.3.
Okay.
So it's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
I it's more because I just get what the appeal is.
Yeah.
It's not something that I'm going to turn on and watch all the time or probably ever again.
Yeah.
But I get it, and I'm happy that I've seen it and I can be a part of the
Now
conversation.
you know the truffle shuffle GIF whenever it pops
and
up.
I know what that means.
Just,
yes,
that's worth
I know
the price of admission alone. Rugs,
Exactly.
give me a rating. What'd you give it?
Well, as I said, when I first saw it, I watched like I ever watched every other movie, but it didn't stick with me. And then I gave it another shot, and then I started to get it. I think I was maybe a little bit too old in my way of thinking. I had moved on from those kind of movies to like Arnold movies and Terminator and shit like that at that point. And so I was like, kind of like not into. I'm not really a comedy type person anyway. But I do think that what this movie does offer is some classic lines, things like jargon, things that you always remember, lines that you always remember, like, you know, a Goonie. What the fuck is a Goonie?
Yeah.
But, you know, the Goondocks, you're like, all right, it makes sense. I'm a fucking Goonie.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to go along with Anthony and give it like maybe just a 7.5.
Oh, 7 point, very close. I'm giving this movie an 8 just because of nostalgia and just how much fun it is. It is a classic, quintessential 80s kid adventure. Like we said, bunch of different things. And you know the movie I want to see? Remember at the end where Chunk, where it's, I love you, Chunk. And Slot's like, I love you. And he takes him home. He's like, you're going to come live with me. I want to see that fucking movie.
Oh, shit.
I want to see the movie of Chunk and Sloth and how he explains this to his parents.
I know that the Monster Squad came out right after Goonies, I think.
Yeah.
And it was a ripoff of the Goonies. But I love the Monster Squad more than this movie.
Monster Squad was 87.
It has a fat kid.
Yeah.
It has a scary German guy.
See,
it has a hot girl. It has a guy who's cool and says cool things and smokes cigarettes. So to me, if I'm going to go with, it's going to be either Stand By Me or Monster Squad before the Goonies.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I wasn't, for some reason, I wasn't a big Monster Squad guy. I'm opposite. And
listen, man, I like fucking Dracula.
Yeah, it had all the monsters in there. That's why, right? Yeah.
I love that fact that there's some violence in there.
The Mummy was in there. Everybody was in there.
And that kid's sister is still one of the hottest chicks ever. So, for my teenage mind, I was like, I would. Yeah. I think you can't. The girl in the Goonies can't hold a candle to the girl from Monster Squad.
What's her name?
Is it Mary Ellen Trainor? Is you talking about?
Her name is, I think, Christine Fuller, but you're not going to find her on there.
No?
She did one movie and that was it.
Lisa Fuller? Patrick's sister?
Lisa Fuller. That's
Patrick's sister. She doesn't even have a photo here. That's not her.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a good-looking girl.
Listen, I would never shoot you wrong.
You put her up there with Carrie Green.
Yeah.
I liked Carrie Green just because she had that. Man, it sounds so wrong saying this, but she had that innocence still kind of look like she was like a legit look like she was in high school, but she also was just down.
Yeah,
yeah, she was ready to do it.
She was ready. Yeah, let's just sneak off and make out while these criminals are going after us.
While we're running for our lives, I'm gonna go make out with you. Great pick, Lisa Morrison. I know she loves this movie and mentioned like they used to have an old tape and they would watch it over and over again, and it's one of those classics you can throw on and makes you feel like a kid again. So thanks, Lisa, for your support. And again, if anybody wants to force us to watch a movie, sign up on Patreon, $10 a month or more, and you will get a pick. Or you can.
Oh, I got one more comment.
Yeah.
Josh Brolin, he was a little stud back in his day, huh? I think he's a good-looking dude back then.
Yeah, man.
I mean, he was always.
He's always good-looking. I thought.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, now I see him and he's old, so
yeah.
I don't appreciate it.
Handsome.
Yes, he's classically
I don't appreciate
handsome.
it as much.
Yes.
I think he looked better as a kid.
Yeah.
Man, that sounds awful.
We all look better as kids, Anthony.
Don't anyone isolate that audio in the future. We're all past our fucking prime. Maybe not you, because you got those Asian
I don't know.
genes.
George Clooney seems to look a lot better as he gets older.
Yeah.
The gray hair, the gray like streaks work
Distinguished. I think Brolin looks good now. Also,
like his jaw is almost too strong now. Wow, I'm really judge men's looks.
We're really breaking down.
I like listening to Anthony.
Josh Brolin's jaw. No, he was a heartthrob.
Talk about how attractive certain men
He was
are
kind of
at
a
certain ages.
heartthrob in terms of movies in that age, I think. The Brolin was. So good stuff, gang. Let's do some news from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
I don't know why that one made me laugh.
Is that a
but
tire
it was so
deflated?
It was unexpected, yeah.
Did you? You sound like your tires deflated, like they did Josh Brolin's bike in the movie. This is the part where I pull out some comments from our Facebook group, Fiddlesticks Winterbottom, posting this link. More free stuff from big companies to keep you occupied during the Rona quarantine. Marvel Unlimited is offering free access to some of their best stories. This is going to start Thursday, April 2nd. It's already started, runs through Monday, May 4th. And if you download the Comixology app or the Unlimited Marvel app, you can read the entire runs of Avengers versus X-Men, the entire Civil War series. Captain America, Winter Soldier, Thanos wins, X-Men, Dark Phoenix. Lots of story arcs to check out. While I've been trying, Ruggs, have you been following any of the stories about what Marvel and DC have been trying to do, how they've been trying to figure out distribution?
Well, they're not really saying much.
No,
now.
they're going back and forth.
They're thinking about going like all digital, which I think is going to kill all the comic book
That
stores.
is the problem. So DC initially was like, we're going to release digitally. We're not going to publish things. Diamond had shut down. They're not getting them out anyways. But then this hurts the retailers. But at the same time, DC and Marvel is a business and need to make money. So what do you do when you rely on a direct market that's set up for retailers to move a lot of your books? You can't get those people mad. So Marvel and DC both have said we are not releasing any new comics, print or otherwise digitally. And this week, New Comic Book Day had turned into No Comic Book Day.
Wow.
For the first week in a long time. It was pretty crazy. So some other studios are trying to figure out also, what do we put out, collections? But that's
studios?
Like other publishers, sorry,
like
Image.
Right.
But that's a predicament, Anthony. If you were a business person in this position, what do? Do you piss off your retailers that have been supporting you this long to still sell books digitally?
I mean, it depends on how much money you have in the bank, but
yeah.
The end of the day is you got to watch out for your own business. And if distributing, if worrying about retailers going out of business is going to put you out of business, you got to do what's best for your business. So,
and let's face it,
unfortunately, a lot of these, I think we said it last week, these comic book shops are probably going to shut down for good.
Yep. Unfortunately, a lot of these retailers will not be able to reopen.
I think that maybe they'll come back in a new form somewhere. I feel like that it'll be more like a fandom store, like a Hot Topic.
Oh, interesting.
And they'll have a comic book section, It won't be like a traditional, like, I love comics. I've curated this fucking store out of my own blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
Out of all the shit that I love and make a place for you. It's going to be a cookie cutter. Some fucking like corpo thing's going to be like, well, we need a place to get comics, but let's like make a whole experience out of it. And let's make a whole like fashion trend. Cause like you want to get all these people buying clothes and this
T-shirts,
and that, It's going to become it's going to be a Disney store.
But that's kind of what the successful stores had already become. The ones we went to, majority of their sales were from toys, board games, Magic the Gathering cards, and the comics was.
I can see like GameStops or something like that. Like just like all of these businesses that are doing shit, like that they'll like converge into one amorphous like pop culture thing.
That's interesting. In the meantime, read free comics on the Marvel Unlimited app if you're bored. Blake Braden has a binge alert. He says all 6 seasons of Community are now back on Netflix. If you have never watched this show, now would be a great time to start. It is a fantastic show. They did 1 season on Yahoo. You got Joel McHale, Danny Glover, Danny Pudi, Allison Brie, Chevy Chase was in it for a while, and he was hilarious. If you've never seen it, you were looking for a good laugh. Community, highly rated. Ruggs, you like the Community?
Isn't that where the Russo brothers began?
Yes, that is exactly. Russo brothers began directing Community. So there you go. There is your MCU tie-in. And then the last thing in News from the Nation, David Zika shared an interesting link to the Sotheby's auction. This dude, what's his name? Ian Levine. The Ian Levine collection, an exclusive private sale offering of every comic book released by DC Comics from 1935 to 2014.
Oh, shit.
Complete runs of Superman, Batman, Action Comics, Detective Comics. There's more than 40,000 comics in the collection. It is being auctioned on Sotheby's. And David Zika asked the question, what percentage of people who could afford this actually would want it? That's a good question.
How much is it?
Well, this is another thing. What do you guys guess this could go for? So to compare the auction.
$5 million.
No, hold on. The previous auction record for a comic was achieved in 2014. Action Comics 1 sold for $3.2 million. The record for an issue of Detective Comics 27 reached in 2010 for $1.75 million.
So this would include that.
This would include that and 40,000 more. That's just one comic for $3 million.
I would say about $10 million. I would say $10 million.
It's got to be,
million.
Yeah, maybe.
I would go
higher.
Yeah, 10, 15, maybe 20. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of first appearances.
There's number ones in all of that.
Yeah, but they all don't hold a candle to those ones that are $1 million.
Action Comics and Detective Comics.
The drop off is like goes to like 10 grand.
That's true.
I mean, it's pretty much like Amazing Fantasy, Detective Comics 27, Action Comics 1, and then everything else.
Right.
But you have to be a pretty hardcore DC fan to actually want all these.
I think that, I mean, there's some collectors out there that are probably super rich.
That's tens of millions of dollars to be crazy. Mike Tchaikovsky had the perfect answer. He said Nicolas Cage is probably going to buy.
He is a DC fan.
Yes, he is a huge DC fan, and he's known to spend money badly.
Yeah, bad investment.
And did I tell you in New Orleans, I saw the grave that he bought in one of the cemeteries. It's a pyramid grave that he is going to be buried in because he's he's crazy. And in fact, when that hotel collapsed last October, somebody had broken in to the grave because they thought Nicolas Cage may be hiding money from the tax man.
Shit.
In the grave. He was not.
No.
Grave is empty.
Nothing in there.
Nothing in there. There's no national treasure. Got to save the Declaration of Independence. All right, let's move on to what we are watching. We just mentioned all these movies we did for Patreon. Yeah. I do want to talk about a couple of them. I want to start with Snowpiercer, Anthony. You watched Snowpiercer.
That was last week, but yeah, I did watch it.
That was last week. So then I watched it also because I've heard a lot of things about it. And I'll tell you what, I love the first half of the movie. And then the movie just kept going on and didn't know how to end. Kind of like ruined the whole thing for me. It was great.
Whoa. So, you're actually expressing dislike for something.
I was like, this fucking movie, why doesn't it end? It just kept going. And the concept is great. Like you explained, like the world is frozen over. They're stuck on this train. And there's a class system. You got to get to the front of the train. So the whole first half where they're moving through the different cars and you see everything and they're fighting people is great. At the end, just kind of dragged. And I was like, what are you doing? It just keeps going and there's no fucking point. But there has been a TV version of this movie in development for like 12 years, many, many years. TNT is
12 years.
Yeah, a long time. It's been in development hell, maybe 5 years, maybe not 12 years. But 5 years is a long time in development hell. It's being made by TNT and it's finally going to premiere. They moved up their debut date It's premiering Sunday, May 17th. Stars Jennifer Connelly and Daveed Diggs from Hamilton. It's going to be a 10-episode series. And I put the trailer in here. And if you watch it, the sets and everything look exactly similar to what they used in the movie. So the look
doesn't seem hard to replicate.
No, and they're following the same thing. It looks just like it. But now the three of us have watched this movie. I want to know, do you think this is a good thing for a TV show? And will you check it out now after watching the movie?
I feel like, to me, the movie is a one-time thing, and then you're good.
So this 10-episode series is probably going to take us through the same plot line, but add more, maybe.
Well, so I'll say that I think they can dive into just what life is like, on a daily basis in there, and kind of the forced ecosystem that they have. So I think there might be something in the mind there, but as I'm watching this trailer, that looks exactly
it looks
like
exactly
they
exactly
have to
the same.
open it up.
Yeah.
They have to open it up somehow.
Jennifer Connelly is like the Tilda Swinton character, I guess.
Expand the landscape of what it is.
But you're stuck on the train. Like, you can't really open it up anywhere. You see,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, on a series, just think about like the stuff that we watch, like Game of Thrones or Walking Dead. Like, you can only do the same thing so long. It's unless it's a mini series. I don't.
And I don't know how you do a second season either. Maybe this is just a one and done 10 series thing.
I'm surprised you didn't that you didn't have an unwavering enthusiasm.
I love the concept. I love another great Chris Evans role. Like, he's so good in so many different things. But towards the end, it's just like they didn't know how to fucking stick the landing. They really didn't know how to end the thing, and it just I lost interest.
I remember it was okay. I enjoyed it, but I wasn't like over the moon about where I was like bragging to everyone to watch it.
Yeah,
I was just like, this is interesting. It's an interesting little thing, and I prefer The Host to this.
Oh, that's his other movie, Bong Joon-ho.
I'm going to make you guys watch that.
Okay,
I have so many other movies
it.
I'd rather make you watch. But that's
for what it's worth. I enjoyed Snowpiercer, but I didn't think it was anywhere near Parasite.
Yeah.
And I think Snowpiercer has a lot of good ideas, especially the ending. I think there's a lot of really good stuff that you can debate there.
Yeah.
But at times I would agree that it's, as I said, I think last week, Asian movies are weird.
But this, I didn't see what was so weird. Maybe a little bit.
I could definitely sense, even with American actors, I was going, this is different. There's a different mindset with this movie.
The violence was great, though. The action was fucking great.
That's what I love about it.
Yeah.
I mean, but
it fumbled the end. I feel like it fumbled the end.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't hate the movie or have a dislike for it. I just it's good. But like, I'm not going to be like, you have to fucking see this movie. I'm like, yeah, I enjoyed it. I'll watch it again. No problem.
Another one we all watched and did reviews was Knives Out, which I fucking loved. I was so surprised about how good that was.
I posted some articles.
Yeah, what are these articles about?
Because I listened to both of your reviews and none of you guys pointed out the class system thing that they were doing that was like a lot like Parasite. Where they were talking about, okay, so now this is the thing that doesn't make it work as good is that Ana de Armas doesn't seem like a like your typical or a stereotypical person. Like, she seems like very European in her appearance.
But they make a point to mention all the time, and she's an immigrant and her family is not from.
So it doesn't work as well. But basically, what this whole thing is, the subtext of it is that you have like this old white man that doesn't want to. That is trying to like upend this whole like thing of like.
I'm just gonna press this
white wealth,
just in case.
Yeah, the whole thing of white wealth being kind of like enforced and passed down. And he wanted to end that trend by giving his fortune to an immigrant worker. I
see.
And all of these people are having these political arguments throughout the movie. That seem like nothing to do with the plot, but we're actually all linked into this whole idea of classism and stuff like that. So it's done in this movie, but so that it's a whodunit on its surface, but where like kind of like Parasite brings up class in a different way.
Yeah.
This is also bringing up this whole like Knives Out is a kind of like a reflection of America.
I see. That's a good point.
I didn't really.
I linked some articles there where they kind of pointed out. So when I listened to your reviews, I was like, oh, no one brought that up. I'm like, I wonder if they even noticed that.
See, I read it more as like he's just trying to fix his fucked up family with this move because the writing in that movie is so good because there was things that they brought up earlier that towards the end I was like, wait, what about this and this? And they fucking resolve it. And
you have
they bring
all
it
different kinds of white like stereotypes.
Yeah.
You have like the entitled kid who thinks he deserves
another
everything.
fucking Chris Evans great performance.
You have like the Trumper.
Yes.
You have like the
there's like a woke kid.
Yeah. Then there's like there's a Trump kid too. Yeah.
Something I didn't mention in my review, but I thought was interesting after reading some stuff and then looking back at the movie is Rian Johnson is just. It seems like especially these past two films, he's just obsessed with subverting expectations. That seems to be kind of his shtick because this is a whodunit.
But then
it's like he tells you who did it in the middle of the film.
Yeah.
And then Star Wars is his own little thing. But he's all about subverting.
Well, that's the thing though. They did in Murder, She Wrote and Columbo a lot on those mystery shows. Is
Reservoir Dogs does the same thing.
They would show you who did the thing in the beginning, and the fun is the journey of the guy trying to figure it out. But then
but this one
then they twist it again. Yes, halfway through.
This one and then he's subverting you with that who did it.
Right.
But what really happened?
And then even then comes out halfway through, and you're like, now what the fuck's going to happen? Everybody knows. And then he continues to like.
It's definitely a fun movie, and I think it's worth watching.
Definitely, yeah.
I feel like this is more entertaining than some other movies I saw that were Oscar worthy. I think Anthony said the same thing, which I
did. Yeah.
So it's definitely worth checking.
I mean, I think if you love like Agatha Christie, Hercule Poirot, Sherlock Holmes, Columbo, Clue, just a classic whodunit that you don't see a lot anymore.
And by the way, Ana de Armas is getting pounded by Ben Affleck as we speak.
Oh, what?
Oh,
whoa!
So
wait, why did I play that?
Oh shit!
He's hitting it. So
Affleck, but how old is she? Jesus, she's gonna be a star. Like she was
in
huge. She's in the new Bond movie too coming out.
She was in the Blade Runner.
Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah,
I think she's got a bright future. She's very good.
If you guys heard my review, to me in this movie she looked exactly like Eliza Dushku.
I heard that. I don't know a lot.
No, I never noticed it until you pointed it out. I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely something I didn't really notice.
Big eyes and dark hair and that look.
Eliza Dushku is one of my favorites. And then this new Eiza Gonzalez is now coming up in the ranks because I watched Bloodshot and she was in that.
Eiza Gonzalez.
Yeah.
I just looked up Elias Gonzalez and I got a man. That's not what I was looking for.
Yeah, Eiza Gonzalez.
Speaking of Bloodshot and the devs that you watch, who would you recommend? Would you recommend either of those, and to who would you recommend those?
Now, Bloodshot is, if you saw the trailer, you saw the movie.
That's what I see. I feel like I don't need to watch this
really
movie.
Like, it doesn't, like, when you're watching the trailer, you're like, oh shit, oh, they fucked with his memory?
Yeah.
And that's, you're watching the movie, you feel the same way. You're like, oh, I knew this already.
Yeah, why did they do that?
I don't know. I mean, look, Bloodshot should be way more comic booky and cooler than this.
Yeah.
Like, this was just it was very much like Universal Soldier. I said that in my review.
Yeah.
It's Universal Soldier. That's what it is. And, it just doesn't really do anything crazy other than that. Everything works fine and everybody does fine in it. And you have this really attractive girl in it that helps. And she's wearing some really ridiculous outfits. And,
Dr. Octopus is in it also, sort of.
Huh?
The guy that looks like Dr. Octopus. He's got the arms.
Oh yeah. He's fine.
Okay.
I mean, there's some CGI fights that are like Matrix level, Matrix Revolutions level, but it's not a terrible movie. It's just not good. It's just like, it doesn't really like raise the bar. It's just meh. There's a couple of scenes where Vin Diesel is like, doing some stuff and it's kind of, it's all right, but like, it's not like when you watch a Fast and Furious movie and you come out of it, you're like, oh my God, like that shit was ridiculous. Like, no, like you're just coming out of it going, I've seen all this shit before. And
would you recommend it over the Bet in the Sun production of Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe, where
I don't even know.
Jason David Frank plays Bloodshot? The whole movie is online.
Have costumes in that.
Yes.
And the costumes are just, they're fun to see superhero costumes. And there is some okay fight scenes in that. But I mean, like the production value is just dismal in that. And
well, I was trying to figure out how much, because I saw somewhere Bat in the Sun posted that it costs like $40,000 for one of their videos. And this movie, it's online. I'll put a link in the show notes. It's like an hour
probably
long.
Cost $5 million at the.
Oh,
most.
you think $5 million? I was thinking like if you extrapolate that out, maybe like $100,000. I don't know. It's just below like CW level, like just the tier below.
It's way below. CW
way below.
level.
I don't know. I'd like some of the action.
Sci-fi channel.
Oh, sci-fi channel, like a Sharknado level.
Yeah, like a Sharknado.
But dude, they got Exo Manowar.
Did you watch
Archer.
it?
I started watching it. I haven't finished it. Archer and Armstrong are in this.
I
And
mean,
Bloodshot
look, if you've never read a Valiant comic, it gives you like some of the characters, and they're all done poorly by. What'd I say?
Lame.
You just went like.
They're all done very poorly.
Jock.
Yeah.
I think there's a wrestler in there that does.
Yes,
like,
one of them is a wrestler.
The Eternal Warrior.
Oh yes, and what was that? Yeah, they're all in there. So I mean, the ambition is crazy.
Listen, if you love Valiant characters and you want to see them, check it out. I watched the whole fucking thing because I love Valiant. Yeah. So I don't know. You're not gonna like it if you're just not watching it for that.
It's fun because it's free online, and I'll watch it.
I would recommend possibly Devs, but I can't really give it a solid recommend yet because I'm only halfway through the season and things can go in a bad direction.
Are you digging it?
I don't want to spoil it because I think some of the fun is like the mystery of it, but it's cool. It's about this. It starts on this guy who gets promoted in his software company to work for this exclusive team called Devs, and you're not allowed to talk about what you do. It's like top secret, and he goes in and goes onto the Devs team and in a secluded like laboratory.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck are they working on? And you get to see a little bit of what they're working on, but then other shit gets fucked up and it becomes like maybe like a mystery and basically it goes from there. I don't want to give away too much.
I'm going to check it out. I can't believe that's Nick Offerman with the long hair.
Yeah, Nick Offerman plays the man who owns the company.
Parks and Rec Nick Offerman. It's crazy.
And it's all like everything's intertwined with some kind of trauma that he's experienced.
Okay.
And you don't really know what that trauma is.
Okay.
But I mean, you can infer that has to do something with his child.
So you'll probably find out through the course of the thing. Anthony, you watched anything else you want to recommend?
No, I mean, that's about it.
Yeah.
I've been debating if I want to jump in on the Tiger King conversation.
Oh my God, it's a fucking crazy show.
It's taken over my life.
It's everywhere.
It's not in terms of watching it, but just hearing about it all the time, all the social media I look at. So maybe, but we'll see.
I mean,
I'm still on the movie kick right now.
Yeah, but Tiger King is a show where you're like, this can't get any crazier, and it continues to get crazier and crazier.
As a man locked in a basement, I need boobs.
Yeah, there's no boobs, just tigers.
Yeah, I just
sorry.
I need something to keep me happy. You know what they say? A man who looks at boobs every day lives longer. I mean, it's scientific.
Keeps the doctor away.
I do like boobs, but right now it's movies, so I'm just debating on what's the next one I'm going to watch.
Start suggesting movies with boobs for Anthony.
That might put me down the wrong path where I get real depressed about my life currently.
You don't want to think about boobs. He's thinking about all the boobs he's missing out on.
Right.
Those boobs are covered with the Rona. They've spoiled everything. Oh boy.
Shit.
That's good, listener. Give us an Apple Podcast rating. We're up to 119, trying to get to 200 for a reason, which I've repeated over and over again.
Nobody cares about
I know, nobody cares. The reason is to get on Rotten Tomatoes as a reviewer. They need reviewers for reasons, reasons, and we like ratings. Ruggs, where can the listener find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at ReallyRugBoy.
What are you doing over there? Anything fun?
Not really.
All right, good. Good. That's a solid plug. Go give him a follow, listener.
For reasons unknown.
For reasons unknown.
Come engage with me.
Yes. Engage Warp 1. Make it so.
Yeah.
Visit the show notes, jockandnerd.com/322 for links to all the bullshit we talked about in this episode, how to keep in touch, how to subscribe, how to support the show, share the show, post it on your social media. Thanks for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
We'll peep you next time.
Stay safe.
Wash your hands.
Wash your balls.
Yeah, when your balls are hot, wash your hands.
This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. I love this movie.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's really good.
Jock and Nerd.
Every little breath I take, it gets harder. I can't fucking breathe. I got corona. Can't sleep at night. I toss and turn. I cough into my blanket.